Hello everyone. Please note that this is a NotebookLM video presentation. Thank you NotebookLM. Hope you find it useful.
So, what if our relationship with AI wasn't just about giving commands to some smart assistant? What if it was a real partnership? A collaboration that could actually change what it means to be human? Well, today, that's exactly what we're diving into. This wild idea of a deeply integrated, symbiotic future with AI. Now, I know this might sound like it's straight out of a sci fi movie, but as this quote shows, the idea of truly merging human and machine intelligence isn't just a fantasy. It's a serious academic conversation that's happening right now. And the goal? It's not just about building smarter tools, it's about building a smarter us. Okay, so what are we really talking about here? The core concept is something called symbiotic AI. And you've got to forget the idea of a master and a servant. Think of it more like two partners in a dance. It's this back and forth where the human and the AI are constantly learning from each other, covering for each other's mistakes, and just making each other better. So, how in the world do we get from where we are now to that kind of incredible future? Well, believe it or not, researchers have actually sketched out a roadmap, a dream of how this whole thing could play out. It's called the World Scope Framework, and it's basically a 6-step journey for an AI. It starts super small, in what they call World Scope 1, just learning from a handful of texts, kind of like a kid who's only read a few books. Then, boom, it expands its knowledge to the entire internet. From there, it goes multimodal, learning to see and hear. Then it gets a body, learning to interact with the physical world. But these last steps, this is where it gets really wild. The AI starts learning from the messy, complicated world of human society, and then finally achieves true symbiosis by integrating deeply with one single human. That's a huge vision, right? It almost sounds impossible. But what if I told you that the very first tentative steps on this journey are already happening, and not in some far-off lab, but in a place where the stakes are literally life and death? We're headed into the exam room, into the super high-stakes world of medical imaging. We're talking about radiology, a field that's facing a serious worldwide shortage of experts. So meet Flamingo CXRR. It's a really powerful vision language model, which is just a fancy way of saying it's an AI that can look at an image, like a chest X-ray, and then write a detailed report about it, just like a human doctor would. Its whole purpose is to help lighten the massive workload that's crushing doctors everywhere. And this thing isn't just a cool idea, it performs like an absolute champ. To get a sense of how good it is, look at the CheckSpurt F1 score. Just think of it like a grade for how clinically accurate it is. The closer you get to 1, the better. The previous best-in-class model got a 0.389. Flamingo CXR, it scored a 0.519. That is not just a little better, that is a massive leap forward in accuracy. All right, so we've got a top-of-the-line AI. The natural next question is, how does it actually stack up against the human experts it's supposed to be helping? Well, the answer, it's a little complicated. At first, the results were just mind-blowing. Expert radiologists often said they preferred the AI's report over one written by another human doctor. But when the researchers started digging deeper and actually looking for mistakes, they stumbled onto something really profound. Nobody's perfect. Not the AI, and, it turns out, not the humans either. And this chart just says it all. When the researchers found a major error, a whopping 40% of the time, both the AI and the human radiologist made a mistake. And get this, in almost a quarter of the cases, it was only the human who was wrong. The big takeaway here is that this isn't just an AI problem, it's a human problem too. Let's look at a real-world case where the experts couldn't even agree. The AI report points out low lung volumes and some mild pulmonary vascular congestion. The human report? It just says no evidence of acute disease. So which one is better? Well, they had 4 different radiologists look at this, and they were split right down the middle, 50-50. It just goes to show you how much nuance and interpretation is involved in this kind of work. And this, right here, brings us to the heart of the story. We know that both humans and AI have their blind spots. So what happens when you make them work together? Okay, so when the AI Flamingo CXR generated a report all on its own, an expert panel preferred it or said it was just as good as the human report just under half the time, 44.4% of cases. I mean, that's a strong showing, but it's not perfect. But then
They tried something totally different. They let the AI write the first draft, and then just had a human radiologist come in to review and edit it. And the preference score? It jumped all the way to 53.6%.
When you look at those numbers side by side, the conclusion is just crystal clear. The AI-assisted collaborative report was just plain better. This is the breakthrough. It proves the whole conversation shouldn't be about human versus machine. It's got to be about human plus machine. Each partner covers the other's weaknesses, and they create something better than either one could have done alone. So let's zoom back out and connect this all back to where we started, that really big, grand vision of a symbiotic future. That whole process we just saw with the radiologist, that's it. That is a real world, maybe a bit primitive, but a real example of symbiosis in action. It's the AI and the human working together, making things better. It's the very first step on that huge world scope framework, and it's happening right now, not in some distant future. So where does this path lead in the end? Well, the researchers propose a final step that is truly mind-bending, an AI that learns from one person for their entire life. It learns their personality, their memories, their unique way of thinking, so that long after they're gone, the AI could serve as a kind of living record of their intellectual and emotional heritage. And that leaves us with a really deep question to chew on. We've seen that human-AI teamwork can make us better at our jobs today, but as this symbiosis gets deeper, it could one day change everything we think we know about what it means to live, to remember, and to leave a legacy. So if an AI could learn your mind, would you let it live on?